Okay, let's get started, everyone. Hello, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
great. I'm going to mute everyone now.
Yes.
Speakers, please unmute yourself. Okay. Let's see. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 8th Virtually Yours by PPBN KLS. It's been such a great journey since the beginning of the year, since Chinese New Year was our very first Virtually Yours. This is our 8th Virtually Yours by PPBN KLS, and we will be discussing a topic that many of us fear, and that is fading Peranakan practices from one generation to another. Lama-lama nanti lupa. This afternoon, backed by popular demand, is our little bit crazy and a little bit OCD Nya Kepo and her buddy, the legal beagle Baba Bibite. And joining them this afternoon are two never before seen on our Virtually Yours sessions, Gen Y hipsters, young, upcoming, and the coolest Nyonya Madeline Tay and Baba Lionel Lau. And I'll take the floor over to Nya Kepo. Nya Kepo, over to you. Oops, she's frozen.
Thank you, Celia. Thank you, Celia. Hello, everybody. Selamat tengah hari. Good afternoon. How has the
Hi,
MCO?
everyone.
How has the MCO been treating you? Bibi dah cakap hi dah. For me, kau sihat tapi rambut kau, my sanggol is bigger this time. You notice sanggol bigger. And then so hairdresser so buka so tak ada uban. Okay, so everything is good. Everything is good on our end. And now I'm sure you read the poster, right? Okay, but I also know what you did with the poster kan. You buka, enlarge. You tekan. Not to see Bibi and me nang kedut ni. You wanted to see what the youngsters look like, right? Nang cantik sekali, nang handsome sekali. I know how you all think. Well, anyway, back to the topic. Aku ni merepek sikit lah. Tu kena excuse, it's an age thing. Banyak adat. Kita peranakan ni banyak sekali. Okay? Kalau mau ikut, tak habis-habis. And some we are still practicing today to the T. We follow to the T, to the love letter. But some, unfortunately, have gone with the wind. Tapi sebelum I go on into which we are still doing and which we are not, let me introduce you. I know you're dying lah, tunggu lah ya. Let me introduce you to the very dashing and suave Baba Lionel Lau. Okay, actually dia related sama gua tau. Ayo, tumpang glamour sekali.
Biasa lah.
Ya kan? Tak malu no? So
Biasa. Yeah, you know.
He's the only son of my second cousin, Frank Lau, who is a PBB NKLS committee member, and the lovely Nyonya Tan Mei Ling, very talented singer, actress. Have you all watched the late Yasmin Ahmad Sepet? Watch again. And then you see if you can find a Nyonya there. That's her, Tan Mei Ling. So, anyway, Lionel, kau introduce sikit lah, is 27 years old. Dia kata dia ada exciting career in logistics. Tapi gue dengar, he's single and not available. Tak apa. Anyway, before I go on a bit overboard, Bibi, lu cakaplah sikit pasal nang si cantik tu.
Apa tu? Tak dengar, sekarang pekak-pekak ni.
Lu introduce si cantik tu.
Si cantik, si manis. Ya, sebelum kita cakap tentang si manis, there are some international audience here. So I think we will intersperse, mostly in English. We will converse mostly in English so that the message is not lost. But do excuse us, we are Peranakan Babas and Nyonyas. We like to interchange with our patois, which is also going with the wind if we don't do something about it. More of that later. Right now, the young lady that you'll see on your screen is Madeline Tay. We call her Maddie. I call her Ling. That's a Chinese name, Xu Ling. She is also in Gen Y, Gen Y in the below 30 years old. Just like Lionel, very engaged in a very exciting career, doing all sorts of things. And also single and also not available. Yeah, all in the same boat. Yeah. So Maddie was roped in by me when we came up with this topic. No point old fogies talk about the diminishing practices of the Peranakan Baba in Nyonya culture. Let's pull in two young ones, and then we see their viewpoints, and then we can take it from there. Use this as a springboard, if you will. Everybody, please do listen, and we will welcome your contributions and your views later. Back to you, Nya Kepo. I know you're dying to talk.
Ya, Pakcik.
Okay. Actually, kita mesti cakap sikit lah. This session is a little bit different from the others in that the four of us it's like a panel discussion, are only going to talk for about 20, maximum 30 minutes. And the rest of the time, we welcome stories from the floor. We will unmute you and you can tanya question, you can cerita, because we want it to be really interactive. It's a Saturday afternoon, you're a bit sleepy and we don't want you to tertidur lah. So remember, halfway through, it's your turn. Okay, gua mau cerita sikit tau, baby.
Ya, apa dia?
Pasal this thing called soja, okay?
Soja.
Don't worry about the foreigners here.
Foreigners.
And they can speak and understand Melayu tau.
Pandai mereka, pandai sekali.
Bahasa Indonesia. Pakar. Anyway. So anyway, I want to say that in my family, till today, we still practice soja, But I tell you first lah, dulu, kena bangun pagi-pagi on Chinese New Year Day, and then mandi from the tong tau, air sejuk tau. No, water heater, tung, air sejuk. So mandi so fresh, pakai baju baru, top to toe, innerwear, underwear semua baru. And then mak sokulakan gold chain, jade ke apa-apa the day before, to tepek everything you own, just tampal lah on that day, because you have to look your best. Look the best for what? For soja. Because the matriarch or the patriarch, if you have grandparents, both of them will drag out the most grand chairs that you have in your house, whether they are carved Dutch chairs or some family ada got the rosewood chair kan, nang ada mother of pearl tu. Sila mau tunjuk. Itulah that one pair of chairs. This one rumah orang ada lah. See got Turkey, got Turkey. The red cloth means Chinese New Year Day lah ni. And then if they would sit there, and the eldest to the youngest. So if you have elder cousins, elder siblings, all oldest to youngest. So you can imagine, my father was not the eldest son, so my uncle would go first, and then I would watch with great pity tau. My grandmother would sit there. I lost my grandfather quite early, so grandma would sit there, and my father would take out a handkerchief from his pocket, lay it on the tiled floor, and then he would soja like this and say, panjang-panjang umur nyanya, meaning good wishes for the elder, and then ketuk kepala, right? He would knock his head on the floor and then wish again, and 3 times. Lionel, are you listening to this? 3 kali dia kena ketuk kepala, okay? So anyway, this is what we did in our family. And my mom was very strict. So girls would have to do this, and jengkong, jongkok we call it. Malays call it jengkong, we say jongkok. And guys would kneel. So I don't know, some people have different variations. Some say they just bend forward. And let's hear, enough from me, let's hear from Lionel. What is the soja ceremony like in your household, Lionel?
That's a good question. So actually for my household, right, You guys can hear me, right? For my household, yes, I used to practice this since young. When I was a kid, me and my cousins used to sojourn to my grandparents. That was back then. And now, until today, my father is very strict on this. So we still practice kneeling down, particularly on Chinese New Year, wherever we are. Even there's once we were overseas traveling, but he still insisted that me and my sister had to kneel down on the first day of Chinese New Year. So that practice is actually still very strictly, practiced in our household. So,
I remember you said you were in US of A and he asked you to do it, kan?
Yeah, in the kitchen.
And over to you, Maddie. You have to unmute yourself, dear. Did you practice this in your household?
No, not that I remember, but based off what my uncle told me, I used to do it as a little girl. But my earliest memory, I don't remember doing any of this. And it has been very helpful, to be honest, because we were a very modern family and we address everyone as auntie and uncle, and has its pros and cons. So the pro is, of course, it simplified everything for me, right? It's so easy. But the con is I actually thought they were all my real aunties and uncles. So true story, I actually thought that a few aunties were living nearby us. So I was like really happy as a kid, like, oh, all my family is nearby me. I'm so blessed. And then it turned out they were actually my neighbors. So yes, no, I did not practice it, but I wish I did growing up. Yeah.
Yes, we did practice with my grandmother, very strict, my parents. And then when the next generation came, Maddie, her brother, and another nephew of mine from my sister, as young as infants, we had them join the Soja. Then eventually, we stopped that practice. Unfortunately, we are guilty of not practicing that particular aspect of the Baba Nyonya culture. We have stopped doing that. And also,
You were going to tell us a bit about Maddie getting confused about her aunties. You said that Nyonyas don't get confused.
Yes. Kita panggil orang, we know your Cik, your Ko, your E. So you know exactly who is who in the family hierarchy. So, well, it's like the Western style of Uncle George and Uncle Lim, Uncle Edward, which side of the family. For the Chinese and particularly the Peranakan, I think it's important. It's all about hierarchy. The men's side first, and then the ladies' side, and then how distant you are. It's part of the pecking order, if you must. So by the time Maddie and brother came along, we had stopped practice. Although I did still call senior aunties, my call. In Cantonese, aku, taiku, samku, yiku, iko, sako, and akong, chikong, So we knew where they were, but I suppose after a while the lines were blurred. And it's perhaps something that we as a society, BKLS, as well as being in the Peranakan Baba Nyonya culture, which is something we should maybe revive. Each one of us in our own family, maybe we start that practice again. We will laugh for a while, but once you get used to it, it becomes second nature. Give it a shot, everybody. Yeah, back to you, Nia Kepo.
Yeah. So I was going to say that last night, maybe we talked a bit, Lionel and I, and we were saying that how lovely that you can see how the cultures melded, because I have a CE, SAE, GOE, GE, but then I have ICHI, and then I have all the Kos as well, but then it's Ko Besar and
Kochi.
and Kochi. Yeah, so you see how we've taken the word Kochi and Besar, even though in between it was all Hokkien numbering, right? G, Sa, Si, Ko. So it's so amazing, how it's so obvious what cultures have come together to produce us. And just to finish off the Soja topic, I want to say that till today, we still practice it in my household, even though I think my husband, Iskandar, really likes sitting in a chair and having the two anak revere him like that. Usually tak pernah lah. So, but we also know that they do it year after year because of the ang pao. Because no soja, no ang pao. So
No
they're very
incentive.
cheeky.
Hmm.
That carrot, you know, that important carrot. So now they're very cheeky though. Instead of us saying, and now we have to wish them a success in life, right? The giver of the ang pao also sends wishes back. Like my late grandmother would say, wishing you success, banyak anak, banyak cucu, depending on your age. So I would say that, but they would say, okay, be a good girl. Don't be bad this year, mama. And then pat me on the head. So yeah, very cheeky, but they still, I'm so pleased that they still do it without fail. Ang pao punya pasal. Okay, so now we're going to move on lah, Bibi.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot what we're going to move on to. Ay, so nyanyong sekali lah ni. Okay, we've gone about the what you call aunties and uncles. Oh yeah. I was supposed, because in the poster kita tunjuk some food and all that kan, so I was going to touch on semayang, but then we talked about it and then I don't prepare the 10 lauk semayang. And then out comes the dusty cloth with the embroidery and all that. And then Bibi pun kata dia tak berapa do semayang abu at home. No, kan? You're shaking your head. So, lu ada technical glitch sikit, Celia. I'm seeing you've gone around the world with your photos. Tapi tak apalah. Tak apalah, quite enjoyable. Anyway, tapi what I want to say is, Celia mau tunjuk tak? Ada gambar tak? The semayang table and the semayang food. Is it coming?
Yeah, I'm showing you now.
So anyway, we don't carry that out so much in our family because it's very laborious, very tedious, and semayang abu. Although I must say that it doesn't mean we do not look up to and worship our ancestors. We still think every Chinese culture, no matter whether you're a Hokkien or Hakka or Cantonese, we all believe that we are here today due to our ancestors and must always give thanks and gratitude, which I strongly believe. See, this is what semayang abu, quite, you can imagine, you have to set it up, use special crockery, impit the rice also, I don't know how, macam mana. So anyway, but the food goes on. The dishes, because lepas tu you can makan, right, the food. So I want to ask, I know, Bibi, you're a bigger foodie and much more expert in this than I am. Tapi kau tanya youngsters dulu, So Lionel, lu punya favorite Peranakan food apa?
My favorite Peranakan food would be pongteh because my aunt used to cook that for me when I was a kid. She cooks the best Peranakan food. I'm sure everybody says the same thing about their aunts cooking the best Peranakan food. Yeah, and I also go to one of my relatives' house rather often. And he likes to cook and then invite us over. I see some of them. One of the guests is he's a guest right now. He's also here. He used to also join us for this like couple of months time, like dinner.
Cakaplah nama dia, janganlah malu-malu. Cakaplah nama dia.
I saw he's in here, Uncle Peter.
Oh.
He's in here as well. Yeah. Yeah, I used to go there and always eat Peranakan food. Very, very nice.
Uncle Peter tu cik dah atau apa?
I don't.
Small project for you, yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
And then you said another famous cook, another very good male chef is your relative, Dr. David,
Yes.
right?
Yes, correct.
Also
He's the
Chick
cook.
or the other side, Ko?
I don't. Another project for me to go and find out. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
So at home, hari-hari ada makan tak? Hari-hari ada masak capcay, itik tim, ada tak?
Unfortunately for my household, my parents don't cook, so there will be a no. Not in the house, no. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Maddie punya rumah maybe Maddie because dia niece nang good cook tu, dia good cook na Chow Yun Fat na pakai kepia tu punya niece. Okay, Maddie, what is your relationship with Nyonya food, dear?
I guess pretty decent. Like I know how to cook ponte, that's for sure. And my favorite dish is actually something I absolutely hated as a kid. Not because of the flavor, but because of the smell and the prep that comes along with it. So it is buah keluak. And buah keluak, for those who are not familiar in the guest panel, it's essentially a black fruit or black nut that is poisonous. And what they have to do is, I'm not sure what's the process like. My uncle will be more familiar since he's the foodie. But they have to kind of like dry it and process it in a way where it is not as poisonous anymore. And we don't have this in Malaysia, right? And we have to ship it all the way from Indonesia. So once we receive it, it's all dried up. That means you have to soak it to eat it again. And to soak it is a arduous process. It is 1 week long to rendam. You have to change out the water every day, and it's really stinky, right? The water turns black, and as a kid, it was like, oh my God, this is so gross. Why am I supposed to eat this? You know? And everyone just loved it. And I took it for granted as a kid because we had it almost once a month, I think. And imagine, like, once a month you're making something so elaborate. It really is a treat, and such a shame that I didn't enjoy it back then. But I enjoy it right now, and it's actually my goal to actually make this dish. Once I get the food, I have to find the food first.
Yeah, I remember when we practiced, we talked about how you said you can't believe it's poisonous.
Yeah, it's almost like if I were to compare it to another dish, it's like fugu from Japan, right? That's poisonous, and that is something people travel for, and they're willing to take that risk. So the same thing with buah keluak. It's really so special.
There was a relative in my family that says, your husband makes too much noise. Cook him lots of buah keluak without the process of removing his toxins, you know, and then in a couple of years' time, you can remarry because he will be dead. He will be dead by then. 1,002 ways to kill your husband.
Thank you for that. But we did talk. We did say, how many people do you think passed away before they discovered the process of removing the toxins?
Probably a lot of husbands went along with it. So
Yes,
they were the
yes.
test subjects.
It's normally buried in the ground, or modern days they will just soak it in water. Even in the market, the fruits have been detoxified to a certain extent. So just to make sure, Maddie, your great-grandma, my grandmother, used to bury up to 10 days.
Wow.
You know, and it was a messy sight, you know, having to dig the hole and put it in and take it out again, scrubbing the earth and soaking. Yeah, it was tedious, but it was very good.
So maybe you tell us a little bit about what dishes you can make, because I hear the grapevine, rumors abound between Malacca and KL that you are a great cook. You boleh masak macam-macam nyonya dishes.
I must give credit to my wife, Lily, you know, who picked up the recipes from my late mom. So of course, my late mom will give her recipes, as many of you Nyas and Bas will know lah. Ayam seekor, jangan besar sangat, jangan kecil. So okay, medium. Gula apa tu? Bawang putih 10 biji. Bawang merah kena kurang sikit. But it doesn't kurang by how much, right? Then ginger, one thumb of ginger, you know, but she had a big thumb. So I look at my thumb nowadays. Is my thumb big enough, or should I do like 2 pieces? And then chubit to just 2 pinch of salt and this. And those recipes were written down by Lily quite interestingly. And then of course we modified it along the way. So Lily has been cooking for the family, including Maddie's family. We have been cooking, I think, itim, chapchai, pongte, steamed otak, ayam buah keluak, ayam sio, and a few other dishes. And I would like to share some photos of the dishes that Lily cooked. Yeah, and then we both did nasi ulam, the one right in the middle, a very colorful array of spices and things. Yeah, the nasi kerabu, nasi ulam. We did that about last month. Ayam sio was 2 days ago. Steamed otak was last weekend. The fish, some fish, was some time ago, and then we had curry. So as part of my heritage, I practice. We try to cook at least one Peranakan dish a week. One Peranakan dish a week. And then, of course, we carry forward as is usual when there's a lot left. And then when you reheat, you eat it. It's always nicer, kan? There's a syrup or Malay word resap, overnight or over 2 nights. It's somehow nicer. So that part of the culture I enjoy. Because as a child, many of you have heard, I used to go marketing with my grandma. She would teach me how to choose fish, how to choose meat. Then I had to giling the rempah, I had to tumbuk. Then I had to light the charcoal fire. She used nothing but charcoal fire. So I used to play with fire a lot, burn fingers a few times. Yeah. So that was how my love for cooking came about. So I don't cook with a fixed recipe. It's agak-agak. So in the old style, sometimes it's off, sometimes it's perfect. And it's something that we enjoy doing. So Lily, maybe we can come up with a contribution. If ever there is a second book project, my wife's cooking of my grandma's recipe or something, something interesting. Make it part
Hey,
of the
Maddie,
series.
we forgot something. Remember how you have to call your fathers, the uncles on your father's side, Cik?
Yes.
And then I looking at the dishes and all his fantabulous cooking reminds me. Can you share with the audience what you call your uncle, this lovely BBT?
Sure. So my uncle's name is Teving Boon, right? And as a very young kid, he's always emphasized I should call him Boon Che.
So that's the joke of the day, everyone. Hey,
He
you
calls
know
me
what?
Bunchik today, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
occasionally. Chinese New Year.
I think rame Baba Nyonya sini, and we kind of understand what Buncit is lah. But for those those who don't know, you taruh lah question, nanti kita answer later, okay? And I think we forgot to touch on one more thing before we open the
No, we are moving to the baju.
Floor. Yeah, that's why lah kita dua-dua ni, ayo, baby.
Selalu cakap makan.
Nyanyi sekali kita ingat makan saja. Okay. So I was saying that we wear all our finery, all our best on Chinese New Year Day, and then you wanted to talk about your beloved grandmother. Okay, you take it lah. You take baju lah.
Yeah. One thing that also is interesting in our culture is our dressing. Of course, when you talk about peranakan Baba Nyonya, it's always the baju kebaya. There is baju panjang or the so-called traditional and the various other styles. Yeah, and then the accessories that go with it, how you do your sanggol and how you wear your kerongsang and all the accessories. But it's not practical to wear kebaya every day. Although in the movies you see young girls wearing kebaya and using the lesong and all that, very romantic. But it's not practical. Anyway, Nya Wave Nya Kepo will mention something about the modern day kebaya. But I want to share. I mean, you see the screen now. You see the three ladies very elegantly seated, and then on the right side, before this, Celia, okay, modern day girls. I mean, these are. I'm not sure. I don't think they're Peranakan girls. But this is how a lot of modern people. I mean, the old ladies, I think, would flip if their daughters or granddaughters dress this way those days. Yeah, never happened. I think you never had a chance to dress like this. So what I wanted to share was, okay, it's a little bit difficult to wear the kebaya every day, but if you wear a stylized fashion, maybe a stylized fashion, I'm giving ideas to those in the industry here, to a stylized kebaya. And this you see are three baju pendek. The one on the left and the one in the bottom, is it bottom? Let me see. Okay, the one on the left and the bottom center, if you look closely, there's a trimming at the bottom, white trimming. Yeah, these are the modern recreations. Yeah, there's a white lace trimming at the bottom. This was a recreation by, I think our doyen of kebaya for Lily. And on the right, the light-colored one, that belongs to my grandmother, right? And it had two large pockets on either side. She would put a handkerchief on one, and she was an avid churut smoker. She used to smoke those churut cap kambing. They stank the whole house, but that made sure there were no mosquitoes in the house, yeah? So that was a good thing. And she always had her churuts in her right side pocket. And it is something that Lily, my wife, has also started wearing quite a few years ago, whether as a baju pendek by itself or as a casual jacket, wearing a camisole inside or wearing a t-shirt inside, you wear it over. So it doesn't seem so formal to wear a jacket. You take it out for dinners in the evenings, it changes the character of how you dress. So again, I'm sure designers can do stylized version of the baju pendek. All I request is such designers give credit to the fact that it is modeled after the baju pendek worn by Peranakan Nyonya women. I think, Maddie, are you wearing a baju pendek now?
Yes, I'm actually wearing
Tell the audience about
my
your baju pendek.
great-grandmother's.
Maddie,
Yeah,
can
so-
you please stand up and show us how lovely it
Sure.
looks on you?
So this is a baju pendek. I actually rolled up the sleeve because it got too hot and I was doing my groceries in my baju pendek and my kerongsang. So I look very overdressed doing my groceries today. But I styled it like this, right, with my jeans. And I think Celia, if you could just flash the other photos with the kabayas as well. I don't have very elaborate kabayas, but I have very simple kabayas that I think looking at the pattern of my grandparents and my great-grandparents, they're very simple in that sense. Yes, so the photo on the left is a very simple kabaya. You don't see the elaborate intricacies of the threading and all the, usually they have big flowers or animal prints. This is very simple print. And I paired it with a camisole, pencil skirt, and it makes it very easy to wear out because it's actually really thin. And panas lah in this country, right? So it's the perfect sort of outfit for me when I go out with my friends.
Wonderful. That's very good.
Lovely, lovely. They're so nice. So actually, I think we're going to end slightly over, Celia. We're going to end slightly over 5 p.m. today because bukan gua punya fault, bukan gua saja merepek today. Okay, there are 4 speakers. You got to forgive me. And orang mau cakap ni, orang semua dying to talk. I saw some questions. I saw some remarks. Okay, so we will touch on everything. And I just wanted to say about the kabaya that my late grandmother never wore the kabaya pendek, surprisingly. Kesian, kat rumah, whether chopping chicken or whether sweeping or mopping, she wore the kabaya, the robia kabaya, but we called it very simple embroidery. With simple embroidery, we called biku. And I'm not sure whether my designer / tailor is attending this today, but she understands that I love that too. And we're all going back to a simpler way of life. I mean, the kerawang right up to here is okay for certain occasions, but you look silly wearing it every day. So the kabaya with the biku, I inherited from my late grandmother. Like you, Maddie, I would tie it in a knot and wear it to college. I would wear it over a simple, like you say, singlet or camisole. And they make lovely see-through jackets. So yeah, let's bring that back. So there is a movement actually called #Bring Back the Kabaya going on as we speak. So I think cukuplah lu tak mau dengar gua punya suara saja. You see Bibi's face, you see Bibi, he's frowning at me lah tu. So what I'll do now, Celia, is shall we address the questions first? Are there any burning questions from the attendees, from the audience? And then we will unmute everybody, address the questions first, we answer what we can, and then let everybody say what they want about. They can stick to the topics we discussed or other traditional practices. Semua boleh, free for all. So were there any questions, Celia?
Actually, it's just about your hubby, Iskandar. He said something about, luckily he's not here to hear about the Buah. And Ambassador said he likes to cook without recipes, and always the buncit is the outcome. It means the cooking deserves to be eaten.
Yes. Element of surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I must say, my husband Iskandar is a little bit brighter than he looks because he removes the black stuff. He calls it the black stuff. He gives it to me. You take this. You take this, and he will devour the chicken and the kuah. So pandai, must have read somewhere about the buried husbands lah.
And I think there was someone by the name of Raymond. Raymond said that I cannot remember the practice of soja. Yeah, that's all he
Ah.
said. Yeah.
Hi, cousin Raymond.
Oh, that's your cousin Raymond. Yeah.
Is Raymond Wong in?
Oh.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Okay,
then I got the
so
wrong
Celia,
one.
how about we unmute everybody. Let them see we've got a good 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes. Got 20 minutes. Got, yeah. Okay, so what would you all like to talk about? Tell us stories about tell us your Suja stories, your foodie stories. Did you like Bibi burn your fingers and all that? And then we will interject if we can, when we can. Yeah, Celia, boleh unmute semua orang?
Yeah, you can unmute now. Anybody who wants to speak can unmute.
Halo,
Malu sekali diorang.
halo. Bisa dengar nggak?
Hello.
Ah,
Introduce yourself, please. Give us your name.
The lady here is Ambara Baratawiyaya from Indonesia. This guy here is Diego Velasco from Chile. Hello.
Hola, hola.
Hello. We have to comb ourselves because you are so nicely. Semuanya cakap-cakap, cantik-cantik, kita harus atur-atur.
Hello, hello.
Only one comment. I really like the line.
Hello,
of-
let's see. Hello. Hi from Bangkok.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm driving my mother. We just went to lunch and then now we're at the market.
Oh, nice. Saudi Cup.
Udah pijit nggak?
Hello.
Market in Bangkok, they give you pijit, so you shop longer.
So you were saying, Ambassador, that
Yes.
you have one comment.
Yeah, the comment is the following. I really like the line that I cook without a recipe, which reminds me of going into the kitchen, see whatever I have and see how do I combine those stuff. The only problem is I have a very short memory and I never remember what I did cook last night, but most of the time we get buncit.
Rawon. Orang Indonesia juga.
Terima kasih. Only that.
Anyone else have a comment?
I'm sure Nonya Grace has something to say. Oh, hello, Datin.
Hi, Frida.
Yeah, I just want to ask about gelang kaki. You see, my husband, his family was from Malacca actually, you know, and I didn't meet my mother-in-law, but I had 5 sisters-in-law, so it's like 1 million of them, you know. So they said that in those days they wear gelang kaki, and you have to walk in a certain manner, you know, because if the gelang kaki were to knock each other, you know, one another, you know, it means that you're not a dara anymore. So you have to walk. So apparently in those days, the men the mothers-in-law will look out and see how the girls walk, you know, to then select a daughter-in-law. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but do they sell it anymore in Malacca? Gelang kaki?
Beng Boon, would you, Uncle Bonchet, would you like to take this one?
Hi, Dato' Frida. Good to see you.
Hello.
I think there are antique shops that sell some of the older ones. I must say I haven't seen any new ones. Mostly it's the older shops that sell very dusty looking, dirty gelang kaki. And we bought some in Malacca, you know. I mean, I always tell Lily, you wear that, you look like a cow, you know.
What disgusting fellow he.
Yeah, bad boy, the bad boy. Dato' Frida, since you are here, the Peranakan Papanyonya culture, it's waning. You are an educator. You have schools behind you. Please do have some modules. Our association will be very happy to post volunteers to go give talks to your students, cook for your students, and we
yes.
get to eat also. Please work with us.
Yes, I mentioned this to Grace actually, that
Excellent.
I would like to sort of introduce this in school, and of course now with the pandemic. But I think we can always have a session or a Zoom session with the kids, to introduce Peranakan, because I think this is something we should keep. It is very much part of our heritage.
Yes.
And I was in Malacca when Tengku went there, 1955, I think, to declare independence at the Padang there, And it's such a pity that in Malacca, you have developed the Padang. You can't see the sea anymore.
Yeah.
And I went to Bandahile convent, and then that's so beautiful. You can see the sea, but now you can't see the sea anymore. It's such a pity, actually. And I don't know whether you still have the sound and light show, because I thought that was really good. And I took many friends, foreigners, to go and see. But I understand it's not there anymore.
It's a victim of the pandemic, I think.
No, but I think even before the pandemic, they've
Yes,
stopped it, many
okay.
years ago.
Mm.
And that's such a pity. Because
First of all, I beg your pardon for saying Datin is Datuk Frida. Minta maaf.
Oh, no, don't worry. Maybe you
And,
got to call me.
and Datuk, so I wanted to tell you.
Makcik in Peranakan makcik? What is makcik?
Nyonya.
So I'm a Nia.
Yeah.
Nia Frida. Okay, good. Nia Frida.
Nia Frida. Nia Frida, dulu kat belakang, if your house was on Heron Street or Tengkera, kat belakang could be the sea. And the Tengkera market was near the laut. Okay, and Klebang was beautiful, the beach. Now you have to drive miles and miles and miles and miles, tak jumpa laut. It's all reclaimed land, and that's number one. Secondly, wow, this Gelang Kaki has a lot of myths and legends surrounding it I never knew, because I inherited sepasang and I didn't know what to do with it, because I can only wear it like up here, looking like an Amazon woman. But because it's besar and beautiful though, with a lion's heads meeting and all. But another person told me, again, I need confirmation from the audience, that only ladies of the night put them on and would ride around town on trishaws with their ankles exposed. So hence I tak berani pakai lah.
But I actually had it on during my nikah, when I had my wedding. I had the Gelang Kaki on. With all the krosang, the krosang tok and all that, because they're all from Malacca, you see. And when I was there, my father was the deputy CPO in those days, a long time ago, and we stayed at Pringgate Hill, near the hospital. Yes.
Yeah. Bukit Pringgate, yes.
Bukit Pringgate, because that's where the government houses are, next to the
beautiful
CM
area. Beautiful houses with rolling gardens.
Yes.
Lovely memories. May I ask, Datuk, were you married to a Baba gentleman?
No, actually what happened was his mother is from Malacca. His father came from Sri Lanka. So he went to Malacca to play cricket and met the mother. So that's how they got married, So he's like half Sri Lanka, half Malaccan, and that sort of thing. And all his aunties and all that are all from Malacca. They wear the kebaya, they wear the krosang, the kebaya with a camisole inside, the old ladies, the white ones, and then the sanggul,
Baju
that sort of
panjang.
thing. baju panjang, but the father was from Sri Lanka. He
Baju panjang.
used to sell, silverware, and, that sort of thing, the Sri Lankans, those days they were called Ceylonese. Yes, so the father is very dark, mother is very fair. So my husband is kopi susu, and then I got married to him. Then my children are teh susu.
Yeah, we Asians have a habit of doing that. Yeah. So my parents described their skin color. My mother said because she lived by the sea, Klebang, she said she could never be fair. She's always the color of kulit langsat.
Yes. Kulit langsat
Can I
is
say
beautiful.
something? Can I say
We have
something?
some questions now. Oh, hi, Lina. Hi, Nyonya Lina.
Yeah.
Hi,
Lina, go ahead,
Tachiviv.
Lina.
Hi, Babate, and to the committee members. Thank you for such a great initiative. And I see we've got quite an international crowd today. May I say welcome to His Excellency, the Ambassador of Chile. And then may I say hi to my uncle, my dear uncle, Uncle Tik Yam, from all the way from Melbourne. Hi. This is your incorrigible niece here. And also my Uncle Philip, my Intio Philip Yo from Singapore. Hi, your incorrigible niece here. We miss you.
Oh, Philip, your uncle.
Yeah, Philip Yo is my uncle.
Okay, he was my neighbor.
Really? Philip Yo teases me mercilessly whenever I see him. Ah, yeah. And also, Uncle Alfred is also a very close uncle of mine. Anyway,
Hi, Philip.
Okay, may I just comment something about something not mentioned about this inherent culture, inherent practice of us. I remember when we are kecil-kecil, I do not know whether Lionel does it or Maddie does it. I still remember, and I insist my children practice it to this day. When we duduk makan, remember or not, Uncle Phil? When we duduk makan, for example, kat Huron Street, duduk tok panjang, okay, orang tua-tua, okay, all the seniors must sit first. Okay, habis everybody sudah duduk, everybody is seated. Now we have to call satu. Koci makan, makko makan, ayo satu. And I thought to my heart, I said, what a tedious process. Before I could even start eating, I could call satu, the whole long table. Did you all have to do it? Now we don't do it anymore. We say, jom makan, bon appetit. That's all. Remember, we used to do that, Uncle Phil?
Yes, yes.
If not, my grandmother will pusing my telinga. Satu. Kena panggil. Ingat tak, Kak Civi? Satu.
I had to do that. Can I ask, I forget, Lena, did we have to do from eldest to youngest? Was there even a hierarchy?
Yeah, but we have to call according to what you say. Tuape, jipe, sape, just like what you say lah. I know this is, I insist my boys do it. Seriously, Uncle Phil, I insist my boys do it. Tak dah we balik, we will lupa. Tak dah ini pagi, in Kim, ni Kimpo, Tua Kim and all that. I think this is a beautiful practice. So what? We'll try to keep the embers of this, our culture, burning as much as we can until we are no longer, bila gome mata tutup,
Okay.
I leave it as well.
We'll check with the younger ones now. We give them a chance. Lionel, lu ada teriak tak sebelum makan? Hello, Lionel, where are you?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, actually, this topic, yes, I do practice it when I was young. I used to remember, because my dad has a lot of siblings, so I used to nudge my mom, like asking, like, what is their name? Because I know there's a lot of like the different names, and I just, for some reason, I can't remember. My dad has like 13 siblings, so I had to keep nudging my mom, asking what names to call. But yes, I do practice this when I was a kid.
Siku.
Yeah, like not anymore, but last time definitely yes. When there's a big table like right before Chinese New Year, then yes, I
But
remember
what
doing
about
this when I was a
today?
kid.
When you makan with your parents, do you say mom makan, dad makan?
No.
Start it again, Lionel. Do it again. Start from tonight.
Yeah, Maddie macam mana? Kita we can kesian under spotlight diorang. Maddie, dearie,
Yes.
where are you?
We used to do it until I got stopped actually during a Chinese New Year meal, I think, because I was taking too long to call out everyone's name. So they're like, okay, stop. I got all the names wrong, so stop. Just makan. Food first.
Start it again, Mary. Start it again. Yeah.
Tina, thank you for bringing that up. In our household, we do
No,
teriak, but there are only four
but-
of us. But the two buffaloes are very rude. I told you, they'll say, makan everybody. Makan everybody, but better than nothing, right?
But now circumstances have changed. Most of our aunties and uncles have already left us. So there is not many. So it is just being respectful, just adat saja, that's all. Uncle Phil, do you do that with your grandchildren?
You're putting me on the spot, you know.
you
But you know,
Phillips.
Lina, when you go back to Malacca, the late Tati Alice, everybody must call, remember?
Yeah, I do. And there is one more practice which I feel very, very sad, but it is not beyond my control anymore. And I find that when we were younger, I'm sure everybody, Jennifer, Tachi Annie, I think everybody can remember this. Bila kita muda-muda, bila semua masuk kat dapur, semua tolong. Tolong sama-sama masak, cuci pinggan-pinggan, khuahi, we can gossip and chat, duduk, makan semua sama-sama, habis, angkat pinggan mangkuk, pergi belakang, cuci sama-sama. That was the feeling of camaraderie, cooperative. Everybody duduk sama-sama, duduk, makan, cuci, habis, kemas, habis, tutup. Habis, and then we all children will go to the panggung kat belakang, kat Hero Street. I remember my grandmother was sorak, okay, mau jatuh kat laut kah? Because there was a Straits of Malacca, kat belakang Hero Street kan, Uncle Phil, belakang was laut, mau jatuh kah? Kita cuci pinggan mangkuk, so we all semua ada, habis tu tutup pintu besar, habis tu duduk, diam-diam dengan orang tua-tua cerita. This practice is no longer practiced anymore. You see, we clean the kitchen. The kids sit down outside, chat. We do not help each other anymore.
Lina, you forgot, even you talk about the dinner, even before that, when everybody comes to the house, that's where the practice start of calling everybody when you just come to the house.
Exactly, that's right. These are some of the practices that is within our control and some which is not within our control anymore. Okay, that's all. Hi, Ambassador.
Ambassador, His Excellency.
Are you talking too fast?
Hands up. Dia sudah lama hands up. Okay.
Ya, sebentar ya. Pendek sekali ini. This is very similar to us. We're Latins, you know, and the Peranakan has a lot to do with the Portuguese. I'm reading this book just for you to know. The Malacca were 84 languages were once spoken. So among them is Portuguese and whatever. So it's very familiar in the family, in the house, in the table. We couldn't speak until we finish the meal. And then father allows, and then everybody chats, right? With a certain respect on it. And perhaps I'm really very, very fond on how do we transpire our culture into the new generations. Because whatever you say, well, we used to, orang kuno, orang tua, udah lewat. So perhaps the way of interpreting it is saying, let's challenge. The word challenge today is the word that the new generations understand. So then let us challenge, if you can manage what the elderly people used to do, you know, the formerly people. And when you put challenge, people say, I'm into it. Younger people do react to that word. We have to perhaps look for the right words to bring back elements which are respect, culture, camaraderie, and gotong royong, if I could say, which we have also in Latin America. Only that. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
So I wanted to say that another thing was, okay, we touched on food, we've touched on semayang, we've touched on soja and the baju, but the language, Bibi wanted to, Bibi and I were talking about it, the patwa, we call it peranakan patwa because it's not really a full-scale language, so it's a lingo. Pun diorang, I'll be very honest with you, Lionel and Maddie are in the same boat as my children, who understand it because my parents are both Baba and Nyonya. It was spoken, you know, like most mother tongues, you revert to it when you are emotional. So you could be speaking Queen's English, but when you want to scold somebody, out comes the mother tongue, right? Right? You all know what I'm talking about. So my children understand it perfectly. They got scolded by their grandmother, black and blue. But if you ask them to reply in the patwa, it's tough. And I checked with Lionel a few nights ago, the same, right? Lionel, can you tell us a little bit? Like, do you understand it? Are you fluent in it? And then Maddie, perhaps, can we hear? And then would you like to hear the language spoken more? Or you think it's too jarring to the ears? Let's hear from you, Lionel.
Okay, actually, I really enjoy listening to my uncles and aunties speaking the language, but I kind of grew up into that, especially my dad's side, because they are very fluent. They speak this in the family, you know, during dinners and whatnot. So yes, I definitely understand the language, but unfortunately, I cannot speak a word of it. Like I struggle. I can't like say anything, you know. But I can definitely understand the language. But it's a very nice lingo, like what you said. I really like the lingo. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah,
I
have to agree. Yes, I have to agree with Lionel. I think we share the same sentiments. So I enjoy it. I like the fact that all the different languages into one sentence. I think that's very unique. And I wish I had learned it as well. But probably the main problem or issue that we face is we do not have peers we can speak to in the same language. Right. So what I do is, you know, even at work, when I'm speaking to my colleagues, I mix Malay words and Chinese words and English words. So English is my main language, but I mix it with a lot of Malay nowadays, and I try to practice that. So it's all about the practice, I feel.
That's very nice to hear that you don't find it unpleasant. At least step one, you don't find it unpleasant to the ears. Yeah, maybe we can do that. Yeah, Bibi, that's another session on practice the language, and we can enlist Datuk Frida's help with maybe forming a kind of a simple syllabus, starting with very basic sentences like how I'm learning Mandarin. Cik susah sekali. Aduh, tak ada orang practice sama gua tak? It's really uphill. Now we have a question here, Celia. Maybe we should address the question over to the chef about the meat inside buah keluak. It's a little bit rough, and I think the person means tough. Is this the norm for this exotic dish? What's your answer to this, Bibi Teh?
It should not be hard. If it's hard, it is either spoiled, sudah rosak, or you tak cukup rendam. Yeah, it should be when you buy the buah keluak, or if you handle the buah keluak, you put it on the palm of your hand and you like weigh. If it's heavy, then the meat is thick and firm and moist. If it's very light, chances are the meat is very dry. And another chef I see there, Baba Peter Chua, can attest to this. The lighter the buah keluak is, the longer you might have to soak it. Kalau tak salah saya, Baba Peter. What do you say?
What do you say, Peter?
The thing is that the lighter one could be already spoiled, right? So the only way for you to know if you have a frequent cook, okay, once you cut the fruit, you can know whether it's good or bad. The smell.
Smell.
Yes. So if you
So the answer to the
So if you've been cooking this regularly, so once you cut, you will know whether the nut is good or bad. That's it.
there's another question from Swee Lian, Tan Swee Lian, who says that she's curious. Is the burning of incense on Thursday evening a peranakan custom?
Welcome. Kemenyan. Kemenyan, yeah. And my father will bring it along and smoke the whole house with it.
What was the reason for that? What was the reason for
I
that?
believe this may be our part of our Malay culture.
Malay
you know.
culture.
Yes.
Yeah,
Malay.
because it's a Thursday, we always do that. I used to do that with the Kemenyan in my old house in Malacca, but I don't do it anymore in Kuala Lumpur lah. I guess the antu-antu all tak naik Kuala Lumpur. Mostly Malacca rumah lama kan. So because of that, kita selalu bila hari 4 sejam Thursday
Ganja.
hari 4, kita
At
nanti
dusk.
asapkan
Correct
satu
me.
rumah, just like as if it's already, you have smoke all over the place because we
Yeah.
feel that we will get rid of all the evil or whatever, you know.
You cleanse,
So,
you cleanse. Yeah.
to cleanse the whole house. The same way when
Oh.
we shifted to KL, I got my maid in Malacca to do it for me every Thursday, you know, so that the house is always clean. Otherwise, we a bit worried lah nanti apa lain orang pula datang tinggal kan. So
Thank you
that
for
is
the
why-
thank you for the memories, everyone.
Yeah.
Because my
So, can I make
my parents
clarification,
did do kejap Philip, my parents did do it, and I just want to tell you why it's Thursday night, because that's malam Jumaat to Malays. Actually it's the most holy night of the week. Not Jumaat, not meaning Friday night. Malam Jumaat is Thursday night, and can I just ask? I love the smell of kemenyan. Why are spirits allergic to it?
I wonder. I don't know. I never asked. I made a mistake. Never asked. No, not asking for it. Yeah. The question. the
Philip,
reason-
sorry, Baba Philip, you would like to say
No,
something.
I think you did give some explanation whether my question was it supposed to be on Thursday night or Friday night? Because I do it on a Friday night. But you clarified that to the Malays is Jumaat is our Thursday. This is something new to me which I've learned. But for us, our intention was we do it on a Friday night. Just some clarification. I don't know which is correct now.
Philip,
I think there's no right or wrong. Different families do it differently.
You
Yeah.
wanted to prepare your house for the weekend, lain tu.
So anyway,
Okay, so it is 5:08 now, and you've all been such a wonderful audience. So lovely chatting with all of you. Yeah, Philip?
before you go, can I say something?
Sure.
I'm Philip Yeo from although from Malacca, but I'm now in Singapore. I'm now the secretary of the Peranakan Association Singapore. All of you may have known by now that we are organizing the 33rd convention this November. So for most of you who are overseas, you can't come down to participate, but I would like to encourage all of you to join us virtually, but you do have to pay 25 Sing dollars if you can subscribe to it for the convention. It consists of from 9 to 1 a.m. It's a 1 hour play by...
No. 9 to 1 p.m. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., sir.
1 p.m. Sorry, my apologies. And yeah, the screen is still here. And I think the most important attraction is the play by these two veterans. So please come and join us if you can. Thank you very much.
So I will do the closing now, and we were going to advertise for you, Philip. You preempted us. Kita baik sekali tau. Kita sister association kan? So anyway, in closing, I'd just like to say that it's been a wonderful session, and it gives us a lot of food for thought, doesn't it? What would you like, after hearing all this, Nunyas and Babas and other guests and associate members, what do you think should continue for posterity? What should we carry on doing? What is too laborious lah, tak boleh kalau tak ada rumah besar, kalau tak ada tent mates, tak boleh lah buat tok panjang every week, you know. Tok panjang is our way of serving food to a long table with all the dishes laid out at one time, not course after course. Yeah. So with that, I'd like to hear a little bit from each of the speakers today on what they think, what of all the topics we discussed, what they think should go on and what should not. And then maybe we can, if you all have suggestions for our next Virtually Yours, and we can take the next part 2, part 3, we'd love to hear from you. So maybe I'll ask Lionel first. Lionel, what do you make of all these traditions and adat?
The one thing that, now that we've spoken about the language, I think the one thing that I would really like to learn is how to speak the language. I feel like I understand it, but I can't speak it. So that's the one thing on top of my mind right now. And of course, the food has to go on, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you. And Maddie, you dear?
Food, for sure. The baju, right? Baju is something I actually really cherish. And I'm so glad that my grandparents and my great-grandparents, they kept it for us. So I actually wear out proudly to the public. Mostly those two things. I think our family's tradition has preserved these two parts very well, I would say. Yeah.
A bit sad for the baju, for men's baju, kan? Because the men nowadays, I notice they wear batik shirts, but batik has made a revival. Because of global warming, you wear cotton. You think of cotton, you think of batik. You think of batik, you think of cotton. And hipsters are all wearing batik shirts with their jeans rolled up. I like that look. Lionel, lu pakai macam tu ke? Lu pakai sarung kat bawah, Lionel?
I'll wear the batik lah, but I mean I like the sarung too. My dad I think my dad's in here. Yeah, he wears that. I like to wear that one day lah, but at home lah, of course. Yeah.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes,
I bought your book, the recipe and so on. But I told Grace actually, maybe you should publish another book, but make it a proper coffee table size, because the size that you publish is not it's good, but I think when you have a coffee table size, it's better as a gift. It looks more elegant, and I think you should have the whole thing, not just the clothes or the food. It's all about the Peranakan. And I went to the Peranakan Museum in Singapore. There is one there. And actually was by mistake, because I was looking for another art gallery, I was looking for the Singapore Art Gallery. And then I somehow discovered Peranakan Museum. And I'm quite amazed at you have the Peranakans everywhere, in Africa, in Australia, everywhere. So I think maybe if you have a book, a coffee table book, a section should also be about where all of you, but the terabo everywhere, and then the vocabulary that you use that's very peculiar of Melaka, all the mencarut, right? All mencarut. Those words,
you only remember that, huh?
That sort of thing. So maybe you should get a professional illustrator for a book and have a beautiful coffee table book. And I would gladly buy maybe 10 copies of those.
Thank you.
Before I pass you to Babate to end the afternoon, I would like to say it is our dream, Dato', to have a museum like Singapore's. Tapi mula-mula kena start with tanah. Lepas tanah kena minta government building. Lepas ada building cantik, hopefully a beautiful Georgian mansion, then we can start filling it up, because artifacts are not a problem. We have many people
in Melaka. Dekat Melaka, I'm sure there are lots of
Melaka already has lovely museums. Melaka has. We're talking about Kuala Lumpur, tak ada. Kuala Lumpur, Selangor belum ada.
Start with the book first.
There was another suggestion. There was a suggestion from Lily Lim to say, can we get the Gen Ys together for some ideas on how to preserve the culture? possibly another program.
Yes,
Getting
that
Gen
is the
Y.
next step. We will have Gen Y and we want to hear from Gen Z because boleh tak all this sampai Gen Z, below, well, the millennials, we call them, right? The millennials. So anyway, we're having such a great time. I know kita and as Bibi knows, he says I can talk till the cows come home. But I have to end here. And Bibi, would you like to do the closing and then kita kena bye bye?
Am I still connected?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you everybody for attending. I like Nia Frida's suggestion that we have a tabletop coffee table size. Maybe again as an educator we can collaborate, and maybe we have sponsors in here this evening who can. We are always fundraising, and maybe with proper funding we could do the necessary lah. And as for museum, maybe colleges, those who have extra space, can allocate certain rooms in their colleges for a Peranakan display section or something, part of the culture extension. Yeah, I'm talking directly addressed to Nia Frida. So
Yes,
everybody,
will do.
yeah, so everybody, so the matter is always ongoing. This concern is ongoing. The association is mindful, and Gen Y must get involved. Millennials must get involved, and I'm sure working together, we can come up with programs that we can set up, working with various stakeholders, interested parties, and then it's something we will work on. So it's been a lovely afternoon to all our guests and our distinguished guests, Nia Frida, Don Diego, and everybody else, Baba Philip from Singapore. I think we will be blasting out the notification for the next Virtually Yours. I believe that will be in October. So please stay tuned for that one. And we look forward to seeing you all there again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So it's every month. Watch this space. Every month we
Bye.
bring you something. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Celia, would you like to take a picture of those who are still here?
Jumpa lagi.
Jumpa
Yeah,
lagi.
Bye,
Ambil gambar. Tunggu dulu.
Gambar.
Gambar.
Kita jumpa lagi.
Can I take a
Thank you.
picture, everyone? Just
Bye.
say hi.
Bye.
August can sing song, August.
Ya,
Don't
kita
go first. Don't go
Over
first.
to you.
Wait. Ambil gambar.
nanti kita
Say 1, 2, 3.
gambar.
Wait.
Satu.
Okay, ready? One, two, three.
Yeah.
Hold on. Got one more page.
Freestyle.
Salud.
Okay, 1, 2, 3 again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile.
Hi.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, August, go ahead. Sing song.
lain kali.
What song you sing? We sing along.
I'm not prepared lah.
I put song for you. You can sing.
Next song kita nyanyi lah.
Boleh. Next time kita nyanyi sama-sama. Well done, Lionel. Thank you very much. I hope it wasn't too nerve-wracking for you, Lionel and Maddie.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Came out in one piece.
You're both, I must say, you're both very calm. Yeah. I'm the kanchong one as usual.
Don Diego, we must do a potluck with you.
I would love to. I would love to.
After the lockdown, yeah? We talk.
We can move. I mean, at least I'm allowed to move because of work. Are you in Malacca at the moment?
Kuala
No.
Lumpur.
I'm in PJ, yeah.
Well, we can walk in the park. That's allowed.
Because I really want to try your empanadas.
Well, this is a story. You see, we have these empanadas, which the Portuguese also have, which is the sort of samosa, it's turnovers, right? You put meat or you put chicken.
I will try this.
Wait a minute. Come on, you get it closer.
Peter, your pang sushi, my God.
But you see, we do fry them or we do bake them to make them crispy. But the problem is, how can we steam it? And in here, people is so good at steaming, do the steam thing. So let's try something. I'm really interested to explore.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Maupun jadi buncit, nggak apa-apa lo.
Bisa diatur.
Bibi, ambassador and Ambara pandai makan otak-otak, you know.
Tiap minggu kita makan.
Ya boleh, bisa diatur. We'll do it.
Please, we really want to do this fusion. I'm serious. Really want to explore. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Muchas gracias. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Jumpa lagi.
Thank you. Jumpa lagi.
Thank you for being
Bye-bye.
with us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Celia. Thank you, the speakers.
Thanks, Celia.
Thank you, Annie and Ming Lam still here. Jennifer, Lily, August, Grace, Lily, Kim, Jojo, and there was an Iskandar just now. Not my husband. That's a young Iskandar.
Till meet again.
Your husband? Yeah.
No.
We clarified
bye-bye.
that. It's okay.
Okay. Bye.
Hi, Grace, at last you appear.
No, I
Huh? Grace,
go boleh. Sometimes I'm on, sometimes I'm not.
why like that?
Barang bikin. Okay.
Because-
Long time no see, August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nanti kita partner, my partner.
Yeah. Tak pakai baju cantik lah, tak mau appear lah. Macam Celia cheat style lagi. Sama